Oh, here we are, 2025, first few months of the Trump presidency. It's crazy how the media has once again divided this country. They do a good job of it too, man. Like it's like tactical, man. Like so, I want to speak on the Carmelo Anthony situation, and I'm also going to speak on how quick America turns on its own beliefs, especially when it's to benefit a black face. Now, I will openly say I have white friends, black friends, Asian friends. And when somebody asks me, do I see color? I'm not going to lie to them and say, nah, I don't see color. Yes, if you're white, I notice you're white. If you're Asian, I notice you're Asian. If you are Hispanic, I notice you're Hispanic. It's glaring. So I'm not going to sit there and say, oh, I don't see color. That's a crock of bullshit. What people need to understand that it is okay that if one of my best friends is white, and this friend, when he sees this, he knows that he is, I will refer to everybody like, yeah, that's my guy, my white friend, one of my best friends. Yes, he's white. It is what it is. Who cares? When he talks to me and he addresses me, he has no problem saying that, yeah, Dion is his black friend. It's all good. It's not an issue to identify somebody with a color. It's okay. It is okay. Trust me, America, it's okay. In this case, though, you see how the media has strategically divided white versus black, conservative versus liberal, once again, because most conservatives are agreeing with the white side of the Carmelo Anthony situation. I said most. All conservatives are agreeing with the white side of the Carmelo Anthony situation. And when people say there is no white side, there's only a right and wrong side. And I'm sitting like, well, all right, if you stood on the right and wrong side, what part of due process have some of you given this young man before automatically assuming that he's guilty of blatant homicide? Picture this, right? I get a lot of people saying he shouldn't have brought a knife to school. That's why it had to be premeditated. He shouldn't have brought a knife to school. Great, he shouldn't have. It's illegal. We know it's illegal. Like, it's illegal. You know it's also illegal? For a 17-year-old in Wisconsin to be in possession of a firearm without a parent or guardian there, and they're not going for firearm training, hunting, or target practice. And guess what, quote unquote, white America, conservative America, whatever you want to call it, guess what happened when a 17-year-old brought a gun by himself to a riot in Wisconsin? They said he was innocent. They said he was defending himself. When the facts came out, sure, he was defending himself. However, a 17-year-old shouldn't have been at a riot with a loaded firearm without an adult present. Matter of fact, in that case, the adult being present wouldn't even matter because the 17-year-old wasn't on his way to target practice, hunting, or gun training. And then, yes, he wasn't there with an adult also. But a blind eye was turned to that. They were like, oh, no, that's self-defense, that's self-defense. Yes, he had to defend himself with the weapon he had on his person. Was he supposed to have that weapon in that situation? No, he was not. But he did. And guess what? He was set free. He killed 2 people. And a lot of people like to say, well, he killed the child molester. All right, he killed the child molester. Yeah, all good. But that child molester, if he was convicted of child molestation, I don't know much about his case. He got his due process, I would assume, and he was out. He was convicted. If you know he's a child molester, he was convicted. He served time. I don't know. I don't know that person's story. But just because he's a child molester doesn't justify the fact that a 17-year-old was at a riot with a gun when a 17-year-old is not supposed to have a gun at anywhere unless a parent or guardian is present and they're on their way to hunt, target practice, or train. Let's flip it now. We have another 17-year-old that brought a knife to school. And believe it or not, we don't know the full story. Nobody knows the full story. You want to know why nobody knows the full story? Because a lot of the witnesses are minors. The testimony and the eyewitness account of a minor is not going to be shared to the public. You know who it is going to be shared to? A judge that can reduce bail. Let's talk about that next. So his bail was initially set at $1 million. Makes sense, right? Obviously, the judge just didn't come out of nowhere and say, you know what, let's not make his bail that, let's lower it. Obviously, some evidence had to be presented to that judge to say, all right, there's more to this. So therefore, based on the information that I have now, I can justify reducing his bail. But you know what? Conservative America and white America is saying, oh, it's because it's a black female judge. It's because it's a black female judge and she felt sympathetic for the black boy. Now, I don't know the statistics, but I'll bet the farm that the majority of judges throughout American history have been white male judges. So you mean to tell me that when the black female judge gets a black case, she's automatically just not doing her job and biased? But when the white male judge or female judge gets the case and makes their ruling, it's justified. If the white male judge decided to give a Kyle Rittenhouse or whoever, or George Zimmerman or whoever, I'm just using that as an example, but that person decided to give them bail, oh, it's justified, or reduce their bail, it's justified, and there was no bias there. But when it's a black female judge, there is now bias. Now do you see that there is subconscious, if you're not, you know what, I respect open races. You know why I respect an open racist? Because guess what? I know you're racist, bro. I know you're racist, sis. It is what it is. I'd rather somebody outright say, I'm a racist, and then say their comment on whatever platform they want to say, but start out with, I'm a racist. What we don't like to see, or what I don't like to see, is, no, it ain't about race. But you use, when the scenarios are very similar, you try to mince words to make it not similar. This case is very similar to the Kyle Rittenhouse case. The only reason why you knew about facts while the case was going on is because the witnesses were adults. In this kid's case, the witnesses are kids, most likely. No, not even most likely. They are children. They are students. They are students. So therefore, whatever they said to the police cannot be said to the public. But to white America, to the conservative America, all that doesn't matter. He's guilty. Cold blood. They're saying that, well, prove to me that they were jumping him. Well, prove to me that they weren't jumping him. Where's the proof that they weren't? You know why there's no eyewitness testimony of that? Because the eyewitness testimony came from a minor. Duh. If the eyewitness testimony came from a minor, it's not going to be made public. But see the double standard though? You got all of these conservative Republican sites, which the majority of their following is white. You'll have your few black people like me that follow, because I like to be informed about everything. You know what I mean? There are certain issues that conservatives are right on. There are certain issues that conservatives are wrong on. There are certain issues that liberals are right on, and there are certain issues that liberals are wrong on, in my opinion. So I like to hear the opinion of everything around me before I pass judgment. Now, in no way have I said the boy is innocent. In no way have I said he's guilty. All I'm saying is that, bro, it ain't Jim Crow. He gets due process. Let the information come out before we judge them. Why can't we do that? Why won't we do that? Why can't conservative or white America say this? And here's the thing. If you're a white American, this is not me saying, oh, it's you are racist, because I don't know all of your beliefs. I'm mainly speaking on those that are hard strung on this kid being guilty without all the facts being laid out. Where's due process, man? What I'm supposed to understand is the conservative party is the party that respects the Constitution, that follows the Constitution, that will abide by the Constitution up and down. I need my Second Amendment rights. I love my Second Amendment rights. My hand is on my gun bag right now. I love my Second Amendment rights. I also love my First Amendment rights. But when presidents go against that First Amendment, oh, there needed to be a shakeup. But anyway, getting back to my topic, that's a whole different conversation for another day. But do you see the divide we have here? Do you see the divide the media is causing? Now, right before I made this post, a young Karmelo Anthony's mother actually made a statement. And her statement stated that they have not received any money. They only got access to the money as of like today, and it still takes time or whatever have you. And so she said what she said, and obviously she's stating that her family is being threatened, which makes sense. It's Texas. You know, I understand the area they're in. Family's getting threatened. Her daughter is afraid at night. Her husband can't go back to work. All that. We get that. We get that. You know what I'm saying? But the news and she went out there to debunk the news that she used that money to buy houses and all that type of stuff. I honestly didn't believe it at first. I was like, this is crazy. And I had white friends, black friends that are for whatever reason just aligning with the conservative side or the white side without understanding that out of all people that should want due process is a black person, or who should respect the process of due process is somebody like us. You know what I'm saying? Because many times we are innocent and have to be, many times we are guilty and have to be proven innocent. That's a phrase in the black community. If y'all didn't know, that's a phrase in the black community that reigns supreme. And I commented on a lot of these posts. You know what they resort to when they don't have anything else to say on these posts and stuff like that? They resort to, well, look at the black on black crime and it's your culture. And and I'm sitting there like, man, how many black people do you know that know our culture? How many affluent black people do you know to know our culture? I live in a city where there's 36 black people, approximately. And 5 of them are in my household. So there's not a lot of black people in my town. My daughter is the lone black girl in her school. My son is one of 2 black people in his elementary school. So not a lot of black people. No, I take that back. My daughter is one of 2 black people in her school. I'm sorry, I forgot that somebody did come in. So, yeah. So, and you know what I get when I talk to individuals in my neighborhood? And I'm going to tell you right now, in my neighborhood, I am the lone black face. By a lot. I'm the lone black face. And for those that don't know me, I come from Washington, D.C., PG County, Maryland area. I lived there all my life up until 5 years ago. For the most part, I've lived in all black communities my entire life. All right. This is the only time where I've kind of switched the narrative and I moved to a place where I liked it. It had nothing to do with the racial aspects of it, it's just the place that I like. And when I talk to some of these people, I meet them at the dog park. They come to me and say, hey, man, I didn't know black people thought that way. I didn't know black people saw it that way. I didn't know you understood. I'm like, you didn't know I understood? And what they mean is, I do understand that there are some issues in the black community that need to be fixed. I also realize that some of those issues in the black community that need to be fixed are a lot of times above our control because of the powers that be. Plain and simple. When people say, oh, anybody can just make it out, nah, man. If you in the hood, quote unquote, and you made it out, you're the anomaly, bro. Or sis, you're the anomaly. You're not the norm. You're the anomaly. You're the anomaly. This point blank period. I have no problem saying I'm the anomaly. I came from a single mother home, it was just me and my mom, you know what I mean? And me making it where I made it, yes, I put in work, but I'm not more special than anybody else that I know. I'm not. I've seen some work just as hard as me and just get bad breaks. It's just that simple, man. So when they say that, oh, I never spoke to somebody like you to see like this, I'm sitting there like, well, then what I want to say, but I refrain myself from saying is, well, how many black people are you positioning yourself around? If you're talking about that token black that works at your job, that acts like you, that's not the black culture. That's not the black community. The average black American is an American and is proud to be an American. Real shit. I don't care what the media says to you. The average black American is American and proud to be American. Media will say, oh, we hate America. Not true. Now, no, we're not going to go out there and wave American flags in front of our house. That's just not what we do. You know what I mean? Those Black Lives Matter flags that you see, those are not from the average black person. Those are from liberal white women. I'm going to be 100% honest with you. That's what they are. That's what they are. So at the end of the day, getting back to my initial topic, why don't those that have already condemned Karmelo Anthony wait until the facts come out? Wait until the eyewitness testimony of what happened comes out. The eyewitness testimony from children. And I'm going to leave y'all with this. Those of you guys that know the law. Right now, if I'm a betting person, I'm betting that the prosecuting attorney is looking for the correct charge they can get on this kid. Because I think they know it's not first-degree murder. I think they know it's not second-degree murder. I don't care what he said, touch me and see what happens. Man, listen, something obviously had to be said before he says that. Like, come on, man. You think these kids just walked up to him and said, hey, buddy, move, which they had no right to do. And if they felt some type of way of him being in that tent, which he had every right to be in that tent, they could have got an authority figure. They could have. Well, somebody will probably be alive today. But there's obviously more to this story. So with that being said, like I was saying, I believe the prosecuting attorney is looking up new charges and the lawyer is looking at it like, you don't have a case or a strong case that involves jail time. Throw jail time out and probation at the best. I'm thinking probation for the knife, obviously. 3 to 5 years probation, which means he has to run a straight and narrow and all that type of stuff. But I'm assuming the defense lawyer is fighting for no jail time. And that prosecuting attorney is trying to figure out, what can we make stick? What can we make a jury of 12 believe and go off of? And I think the evidence that they have ain't first-degree murder, ain't second-degree murder, and it's barely manslaughter. That's just my belief. So I'm just saying, let due process take its course. Let's see what happens. And everybody shut the fuck up with all the bullshit, because no evidence is going to be released until the trial starts, because I believe, or we know, a lot of the testimony is from ding, 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 minors. That's all I got to say about that. Sorry I went a little long-winded, but that's all I got to say about that, man. Lawson out.